In this video, I'd like to introduce my favorite AI web search tool, because in many cases when you do automations or you build AI features, you actually need to access the web to get data, maybe summarize it, etc. So my favorite tool is Linkup. I know that there are many solutions out there. I know that ChatGPT provides endpoints when you can activate web search as a tool. Anthropic as well, Perplexity also works like that. But I really like Linkup because it's super easy to set up. They have two modes, standard or deep, whether you want a fast and efficient or a more advanced search. And yeah, super easy to implement. And it's the main tool I use in my end-to-end workflows whenever I need access to the web and AI. So let's dive into the tool. I'm going to open their playground that I really like, where you can basically prepare your queries. For example, compare the top 10 CRM platforms. In here, you can choose the depth. So the standard query is 0.5 cent per query, which is really low compared to, for example, OpenAI that is around 5 cents per query, so 10 times more expensive. And actually the deep mode is 5 cents per query. And then the best part about Linkup is that you can very easily switch between source answer, which means it will return a text with links to the sources, or you can just return the raw results. I've never used that one, but my favorite is to return a structured JSON format that you can actually prepare. So this means that when you will receive the response, it will be formatted into the JSON that you wanted, maybe an array with some keys and sub-items, etc. So it's ready to be mapped in your automation or your AI feature later. So let's maybe start by using their prompt optimizer and simulate the case where we wanted the perfect prompt to, for example, compare CRM software. I want a list of the top 10 CRM software, and the output should be a JSON array with one item per software, and then each item would have a few keys that would help to describe the software, their capacities, etc., and their pricing. Here I'm going to hit Generate JSON Schema, so I can be using that prompt in JSON mode. Perfect, I've got that. I will go in here and paste the JSON that I got. So if we analyze it, we see that we have an array. And then for each, we have the name, vendor, description, features, etc. Perfect. And then you can also decide to exclude or include domains to search, for example, if you only want specific types of sources, or you can also make sure that the sources that are being used are maybe recent or like from the past, etc. So you can use these date filters. Now, when we're ready to run, we can just hit Run Query. And we will see here an example response. But this is just, so again, their playground. So you can prepare your prompts, and then you can easily, and I will show you to you in a minute, you can easily have that being automated and query that via API, which is the main use case. So we now have our response, and we see that it's a very nicely structured JSON, exactly as we have requested. And we would be then able to like reuse that way more easily than if it was a single text, but it's also possible to output a text if you, for example, want to integrate that within a chatbot where the user would want just one text as the output. So what we can do now is actually to get the data to run the API query directly into a tool. In my case, I use N8N, but it can be Make, Zapier, or any other software. And you can just copy the curl and in N8N, for example, paste it. If I add here an HTTP request in a workflow, I can just import my curl. So for the authentication, I will, instead of passing it in the headers, I will just use generic credentials. So I'm using the credentials that I have stored already. And we see here in my query, the depth standard. I could choose, I could pick deep instead if I wanted to. We want a structured output. And here we can visualize the actual JSON that we want. I can just paste it again so it looks cleaner, exactly like this. And yeah, if we run this, we will have run that through the API and have our answer, our output here. Perfect. So if we see that as a JSON, we have here our list of 10 software, and maybe from this output we could have an LLM that would this time maybe like run an action and maybe compare all of them. So I'm just calling the full JSON that we got here and adding a prompt. The user message will contain a list of 10 CRM software, and you will output the recommended choice for a small company that needs very basic functionalities and that has a restricted budget. And now, we would have this like AI feature that would like find a 10 software solution, and then here have another AI step that reuses what we've found to basically like make a decision or something like that. So from there, you can really see that you could build any workflow basically super easily that would use web search and query the internet with a bit of LLM to like format, present the information that you can then reuse easily in your workflow. So I've used Linkup in a couple templates that I've already published. One is to generate source articles, where here we have first an AI that breaks down the article topic that we want to write into sub-questions, and then for each sub-question we search the web to find insights with their URLs, so we can then aggregate all of that, all the questions and insights, to give them to a final AI output that would leverage all of that to basically write an article that contains hyperlinks to external websites to have a very nicely sourced article. So I'll be adding that N10 template in the description. Another template was this time about, on a schedule, you would search for here news about fashion using Linkup here to find like all the most recent news about this topic, and then store them all into Airtable and send a Slack notification to your team to tell you, maybe if you run it on a weekly schedule, you would have every week a summary of how many news were found, and you would then find them in Airtable. And then maybe the latest template is actually a bit more wild. It basically works the following way. You, through a form, you input a sort of research that you would like to run. So here, find inspiring women in tech and give enough information so I can personalize outreach. So an AI step prepares a bit the research, and here we'll actually define all the kind of, if you remember the JSON, the structured output schema that we will need. So this AI will actually configure that for the next nodes, because here we'll return an array of the 5 items, like for the objects that we had in mind. So here it would be like to find people that match certain criteria, and this is all provided by this AI, and it here uses Linkup to run that. And then for the 5 people that we have found, we run a loop, and for each of them we will query Linkup again with the parameters that the AI thought was interesting to get for all these profiles. So we get for each of them the full name, the role, etc. Like very custom attributes, so that at the end we could convert all of that into a CSV. So here it's really a research assistant that takes a prompt and returns a very custom and rich CSV based on information on the web. So this is also a template I'm publishing right now. It's being reviewed, so I'll be adding it to the description whenever it's ready. So again, if you're looking for the easiest way to have web AI search within your workflows, I recommend taking a look at Linkup, which is really the solution I recommend.